Hello and welcome to Listen and Learn English. In today's lesson, we are going to practice a very common real-life situation. Taking a taxi or a ride in the city. This is something you will experience when you travel, go on vacation, or move around in a new place. In this lesson, you will hear a conversation between two people, Patrick and Emma. They are getting ready for a taxi ride, talking about the price, the route, their expectations, and their experience during the ride. Even though they are in a taxi situation, they will only speak to each other. This helps you focus on understanding English naturally without distractions. Try to listen carefully to how they describe situations, express opinions, react to unexpected things, and share their thoughts. You will hear useful phrases like, "This ride is more expensive than I expected. I think we are going the wrong way. Maybe we should check the map. I usually prefer using apps for transportation." Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just focus on the meaning and the flow of the conversation. After listening, you can replay the video and try to repeat the sentences. This will help you improve your listening and speaking skills. Take your time, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Are you ready? Let's begin.
I'm really glad we decided to take a taxi instead of walking, because I'm honestly feeling quite tired after walking around the city all day.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. And I think taking a taxi is definitely the best option right now, especially since we still have some distance to go.
I was actually thinking about using a ride app earlier, but I wasn't sure if it would be faster or cheaper than just finding a taxi here.
I usually prefer using apps because you can see the price in advance and track the route, which makes me feel more comfortable.
That's true. I also like knowing the price before the ride starts, because sometimes it can be a bit unpredictable otherwise.
Exactly, and sometimes I feel like the route can be longer than expected, so it's good to keep an eye on the map during the ride.
Do you think we should check the map now, just to make sure we are going in the right direction?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, not because I don't trust the situation, but just to stay aware of where we are.
I just opened the map, and it looks like we are heading in the right direction, so that's definitely a good sign.
That's great. I always feel more relaxed when I know exactly where we are and how long it will take to arrive.
Same here, especially in a new city where everything feels unfamiliar and a bit confusing at first.
By the way, do you remember how much the estimated price was when we checked earlier?
I think it was around 15 to 20 euros, but I'm not completely sure because I didn't pay full attention.
That sounds reasonable, especially considering the distance and the time of day.
Yeah, I think it's fair, and honestly, I would rather pay a bit more than feel tired and uncomfortable.
Exactly. Sometimes comfort is more important than saving a small amount of money.
I also like that we can just sit, relax, and talk without worrying about directions or traffic.
That's true. It gives us a chance to slow down and just enjoy the moment a bit more.
Do you usually take taxis when you travel, or do you prefer public transport?
It really depends on the situation, but I usually prefer public transport during the day and taxis in the evening.
That makes sense, especially when you are tired or when it's late and you don't want to deal with buses or trains.
Exactly. And sometimes taxis just feel more convenient, even if they are a bit more expensive.
I agree, especially when you have luggage or when you're not familiar with the area.
By the way, I think this ride is taking a bit longer than I expected. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. It feels like we have been driving for quite a while already.
Maybe there is some traffic ahead, or maybe the route is slightly different than what we expected.
Let me check the map again. just to be sure that everything still looks correct.
Good idea. It's always better to double check instead of just assuming everything is fine.
Okay, it looks like there is a bit of traffic on the main road, so we are taking a slightly longer route to avoid it.
That actually makes sense. I would rather take a bit longer than sit in traffic and not move at all.
Same here. At least we are still moving and getting closer to our destination.
Exactly, and it doesn't seem like it will take too much longer from here.
I think we should arrive in about 10 minutes, according to the map.
That's perfect. I'm really looking forward to getting back and relaxing for a while.
Me too. I think we did a lot today, and we definitely deserve some rest.
Absolutely, it was a great day, but also quite exhausting.
At least we can end it comfortably and not have to walk all the way back.
Yes, this was definitely the right decision.
Next time, we might plan our route better so we don't get this tired.
That's true, but sometimes it's also nice to just explore without a strict plan.
I agree. Those are usually the moments when you discover something unexpected.
Exactly, and those are often the best memories from a trip.
I think we are getting closer now. I recognize this street from earlier.
Yeah, you're right. We are almost there.
That's great. I can't wait to finally sit down and relax.
Same here, and maybe later we can grab something small to eat nearby.
That sounds like a perfect plan to end the day.
So what did we learn in today's lesson? In this conversation, you could hear how Patrick and Emma talked about taking a taxi and sharing their thoughts during the ride. They didn't speak to the driver, but they described the situation, which is a great way to practice real English in a simple and natural way. You learned useful phrases for talking about transportation, checking directions, discussing prices, and expressing your opinions. For example, they said things like, "I think this ride is taking longer than expected. Maybe we should check the map. I usually prefer using apps." These are very common and practical expressions that you can use in real life. Try to remember some of these sentences and practice saying them out loud. You can also replay the dialogue and repeat after Patrick and Emma. This will help you improve your pronunciation, confidence, and fluency. The more you listen and repeat, the more natural your English will become. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.